today with me for Small Business Day recording here. What we're trying to do and continue to do is having conversations with all of our small business owners. And Steve Aune is joining me here today. He is a insurance rep and business owner with American Family Insurance. He is, gosh, how many years now? I can't remember how many years we've known each other, but maybe.
So we've known each other for 6 or 7.
Okay, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Through various groups, right?
Yeah.
So Steve's going to tell us a little bit about himself first, and then we'll kind of get into the series. So I'll let Steve take it away and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. So Steve Aune, I own Aune and Associates. It's an American Family Insurance agency in the west side of Madison. Live in Verona, and I have a team of 5 that right now are all working remotely. And then at the house, I have my wife, a couple dogs, and then we have a junior in high school and a freshman in high school.
Ooh, I'll ask those questions here in a little bit, how those adjustments are going. Let's take me through, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we all got the same announcement. Things were changing in a pretty drastic way for the way that we did business, the way we operated in our personal lives. Lots of changes. What short-term adjustments and possibly long-term adjustments have you guys made in your practice so that you can still serve your clients, still keep your doors open, but stay safe?
Yeah, it's a great question. So about a little over a year ago, I did some business planning through Lift Consulting, and it was modeling out what different would look like.
Sure.
And so I was throwing around the idea. I was like, what if I didn't even have an office space? What would everybody do? So we set everybody up to work remotely a year ago. Knock on wood, right? Because now we're in that world. So I remember the Friday before all this stuff was starting to happen, I said, everybody take all your stuff home. I got a good feeling you're not coming back on Monday. I'll let you know over the weekend. So everybody had their laptops, all the information that they would have needed to do business as usual, took home extra monitors, that sort of thing. And sure enough, Monday morning, we're working remotely. And so we really didn't miss a beat because we were pretty well set up for that.
Sure.
What's really cool is American Family as a company, within that first week, we had 15,000 remote work sites set up across the organization in 1 week. It was crazy.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. So it worked really well. And since then, the company's really enhanced everything, and it's been really fun to watch it all kind of go down. But, right away, if you called the office, you had no idea somebody was at home working from their home office or whatever they're doing. And looked like they were just calling the office. So it's been really good.
Good. Well, hey, I mean, all for business planning, right? I mean, yeah. This is a key reason why you have those discussions and thoughts is that you plan, and not that you obviously knew or predicted that this would be the case, but what a way to be able to be out in front of this a little bit because you guys did take the time. So that's actually pretty cool. So you guys, do you feel like, have you switched to this online where you've done some Zoom meetings with people or other formats so that they can get that personal connection with you, especially new clients?
Yeah. So, we hold pretty fast to try to meet with people in person when we meet with them for insurance, especially if they're coming to us new. Yeah. That way we can put a face to the name. And, it comes down to when something goes wrong and they need someone to call, we want to know who we're talking to, and I want them to know who they're talking to. Absolutely. And Paul and I, about a year ago, right, we started toying with the whole Zoom meeting and GoToMeeting and all these different platforms, but we really were never all in. We would haphazardly do them. Sometimes we'd do them, sometimes we wouldn't. We do an in-depth phone call or whatever. And so we had an idea of how it all worked, but this last month has really forced us to really dive in and figure it all out, and it's worked remarkably well.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. Any adjustments, like since you've been able to do this from home, what things like in the middle of it have you guys noticed you've had to make some additional adjustments? Are there any things that have caught you off guard?
Well, probably the couple biggest things are, working from home when I have kids doing schoolwork. My wife works with me, so she's at home working. Finding a place to call your own is like next to impossible. So that's been a challenge. But then on the other side of it is that I'm an essential business. We have people that stop in to pay bills in person, which is crazy to think of. And then they'll also just give us cash. So we've had to come up with, I have to go to the office just about every day to at least check the mail and see who's paid and if anybody's dropped off any cash or anything. So that's just definitely trying to navigate that, trying to figure out what to do there.
Yeah.
American Family's been doing some modeling around paying your bills at like a Quick Trip. Not saying Quick Trip is the one, right? But as an example,
yep.
Can you go there to pay your insurance premium versus having to go to an office? So we're not there yet, but they're testing it in some markets.
Almost like a direct deposit where they can say they scan it in and say, this is the money I'm putting in. Wow.
Yep.
Do you feel like do you think the impetus of people giving you checks or cash is because they don't want to be tracked through some kind of application like a Venmo or a Cash App or whatever, or they just maybe don't have the resources to get to that point?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, it's habit stricken, so they're in the habit of doing it manually. The ones that pay cash, my guess is they probably don't even have bank accounts.
Okay. I'm just curious from our side because we've recently transitioned to electronic transfer of earnest money, and it's slick. It's so nice, right? We don't have to get stuff in the mail, but we still have people say, "I'm not doing that. I'll drop you off." Well, we can't take cash in our business, but we can we can take checks or cashier's checks. But even that now has really slowed down. We've seen probably 50% to 60% of people are literally using the e-funds now because they find it so efficient. So, well, I'm just curious how that's working. So, okay, so we got the business side of it. So it seems like things are still going well. From a personal side, and if you hear screaming in my background, you can understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
How are you guys adjusting from, let's say, from you personally, like from a mental standpoint of being able to like balance being actually in the house? How are your kids doing? How are your wife doing? How's everybody balancing these new changes?
Yeah, it's been interesting. So you go back 3 weeks ago or whatever, how long it's been, we were supposed to go on vacation right then, and we ended up canceling that. So I went through the whole shock, denial, resentment, you know, and I was like, you know, there was days when I was supposed to be on vacation, but ended up working because we were trying to transition all this. And so I'd be that guy that wasn't really getting dressed till noon and, you know, running the shop as best you can. But eventually I came around and just said, hey, this is the new norm, man. We got to buck up. So it's all about your attitude and how you interpret it and what you do about it. So for now, it's, you know, same routine, get up early, get my morning routine out of the way, get showered, get dressed for work, whether or not I was going in the office or not, I'm still dressing for work. And then business as usual. Then I reach out to the team every day. We do team Zoom meetings at least twice a week, just to kind of get everybody together to you know, camaraderie and all that stuff. And then we did a happy hour this week with the team.
Oh, good idea.
That's been good. Yeah. You know, it wasn't anything flashy, but just talking stuff other than work, you know, and what everybody's going through. Because we have one staff member that has 2 elementary school kids at home, and having to teach them schoolwork and try to figure out how to work because they need to be monitored more than high school kids do.
Yeah.
So it's been, you know, you got to really understand what they're going through and allow them the time and space to get all that stuff done. So we've been navigating that. And then for as far as my kids, I mean, they're in high school, so it's get your assignments, crank them out, watch a video from the teacher, and, you know, heck, they're pretty good students, so they're done fairly quickly. So they're actually liking it, and then they can get on with their day and
that's awesome.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, it's a good adjustment. I mean, it's funny. I've heard the range, right? I've heard like you said, I have young little kids, and then I have other friends that have kids in elementary school, and the parents want to, you know, drink by noon because they're just like, there is a reason I'm not a teacher. I can't keep up with this, but it's really putting people to be uncomfortable to create severe change quickly is what I'm saying too, right? Like, I'm not good at it either. I'm not good at I'm not good at staying at home with kids, right? I'm the fun come home after work guy. But that's not my role right now. My role is a lot different. It's also some other stuff that, I don't enjoy. But I love how you stated it. We all had a week or so that we had to adjust, and we went all through the cycles, right? Like, nah, this isn't really happening, to I hate this, to I can't believe this is my life, to right, whatever thoughts were flowing through your brain. And we did the same thing as a family and as a team. We just reset our heads, like, okay, what's our day going to look like? What is the new normal Monday through Sunday? And how do we create a schedule so that we can honor all the things that we want to honor and kind of keep focused? Because I've heard some people, like, they're not waking up till noon. Like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't like the world didn't end. It just, it has a new cycle. So it's fascinating. What, any last things? It's maybe something I didn't ask that has been on your mind that you wouldn't mind sharing about, like, your business and how you're helping people, or also finish it at the end with your contact information so we know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah. So I'd like to share a couple things. One is the mental side of this whole ordeal. And that is, just be careful what you're feeding your mind on a daily basis. If you're reading all the negative headlines and how everything is spreading so fast, and you're actually more likely to get sick, or at least think you're sick, and then you'll start to see symptoms of being sick, and then it just compounds the problem.
Right.
So you really need to get out of that mindset and just focus on yourself, keeping yourself healthy, get the diet dialed in, right nutrition, hydrate like crazy, keep your hands clean, obviously. And eat the right foods, and avoid junk food, because junk food just compounds the problem. So I'd like to share that, because I think that's really important. And then as far as our clients go, we're responsive, right? So if they have something that's going on, claims are still happening, even though there's less drivers on the road. And American Family just gave some premium relief to all of our auto insureds, but we're still seeing claims. People still have a house fire, people are still in accidents, the ones that are out driving, and things happen, and dog bites still happen. And so you have to be there for people when all that stuff goes down, because you never know what's going to happen that way. And then as far as contact information, our email address is Aune and Associates at amfam.com, Aune and Associates at amfam.com. And then our office number is 608-274-9702. And then we also have web presence, so SteveAuneAgency.com as well.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Those are great words to finish that, is that, things are still happening and people still need those services. And you're a small business, you're working as hard as you can to keep people employed. And I'm sure all of us have that freak out moment as small business owners when it first happened. You're like, okay, what are we going to do here? But being essential is it is nice to know that you are essential. But at the same point, do you think it would change anything if you weren't essential? Do you think you would still be able to operate?
I would figure out a way to operate. Yeah. And you have to surround yourself with people with that mentality, and there's always a way to do something. I have a friend that's in the piano repair business, and he's like, since I can't go look at people's pianos, I might as well open up my photography business again. There you go.
Okay. Even better.
Yeah. So there's always a way to make it happen and get it done. You just got to dive in and figure it out.
Yeah. I love that you put it that way. I don't know if you listened to Gary Vee. I love his just how he thinks so big, so different. And he said something very similar. He said, hey, if you can't get done what you're normally doing, we all have passions. Go do that thing right now. Like, whatever that passion is, like, go do it. And don't worry about that. You don't have this perfect setup or this perfect week. At least you're out doing something. And so I think that's a really good message that you put across.